For over 30 years, it has been the biggest event of the summer. But this year, there's more party than ever before. For the first time ever, a two-night event where legends seek retribution.
So I can end my career on my terms!
You are here fulfilling your dream, and that is all because of me.
The impossible made possible.
I'm back! And I've never seen anybody as good as Bailey. Ding dong! Hello?
Superman's wings clipped. David vs. Goliath becomes reality. A psychopath faces a phenomenal challenge.
Forged in blood, etched in bone, the sacrifice, the war we know. The choices that we make echo eternal day. I'm not afraid to stand up this I'm never gonna give up. I'm lightning, no fear, just adrenaline. What kind of scars will you leave? What kind of blood will you bleed? When fear sets the stage for defeat, what will your legacy be? What will I become? Forsaken or beloved? What will I become? So everybody's
And now, the moment has arrived. Careers will be made. Carnage will reign supreme. And champions will shine free. So sit back, enjoy the ride. For the first time, 2 nights, an event that is larger than life itself. The biggest party in history begins now. Welcome
what will my legacy
to
be?
SummerSlam.
Hello and welcome to episode number 49 of the TEW WWE Challenge Run. This is going to be the season finale. This is SummerSlam Night 2 2020, episode 49, Sunday week 4 August 2020, and is the second part of the 2-night event. If you haven't seen part 1, that went up yesterday. And yeah, without any further ado, let's just jump into the final show of Series 1 of TEW 2020 Challenge Run. On the pre-show, Oney Lorcan and Jacob Fatu goes 10 minutes, and it's basically Jacob Fatu beating the fuck out of Oney Lorcan for 10 minutes. But it's not really a squash, because Oney has his gimmick where he's going to keep fighting out and he's going to keep kicking ass. And whatever Jacob Fatu does, he rises to his feet, he screams in his face going, "Come on, I want more, I want more, I want more." But in the end, it is too much. And in 10 minutes, Jacob Fatu does defeat Oney Lorcan with a Samoan drop. Oney gets a 54, Fatu a 50, and Jacob Fatu defeats Oney Lorcan in his pay-per-view debut here at the SummerSlam kickoff show. We then get the intro video, which again, we've already seen at the start of the actual video, so I'm not going to play it again, but this is where we'll be on the actual show. Pyro goes off, boom, 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 boom. And we get into our first match of the evening. She gets us a 63. And it's the SmackDown Tag Team Title match, Triple Threat Ladder match. Death from Above, New Day, and the Usos. And of course it would be a lot of high-flying stuff. Look at who you got in here. Big E, sort of the only man that would keep it grounded. Everyone else is just flying around all over the place. No, actually, probably just Kofi and the Usos, because the whole thing for Death from Above is that they're trying to change. So they may do 1 or 2, but they would also try and keep it grounded. And Usos and New Day, of course, know each other very well. But they end up counting each other out so that Grand Metalik can climb to the ladder and retain the championships. And they make defense number 1 of the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Lindsay gets a 51, Metalik a 60, 72 for Big E, 75 for Kofi, 64 for Jey Uso, 65 for Jimmy Uso. But Lindsay Dorado has broken his metatarsal. I don't know how long that'll keep him out for, but that could be bad news for the SmackDown Tag Team division. Because one half of their champions has just been hurt on SummerSlam. Don't know how long he's gone for, but again, I'll keep you updated next time. Thank you, Michael Hayes. R-Truth, he's back in his little beach house, ready for night 2 of the SummerSlam WrestleMania Mega Party. Him and Carmella are getting everything sorted up. J-Flo are there, because fresh off not winning the Women's Tag Team titles, they're now going to be the musical act for R-Truth's party. And he approaches Mark Henry, and he's like, hey, have we got Robert Rock here yet? And Henry's like, you mean Robert Stone? No, he hasn't shown up yet. And I'm like, damn, he need to come here and bring my baby with him. Well, I know we'll get him here. Just you hold up. We'll get him here. Lickety-split. Interview with Zelina Vega, Andrade, and then Isaiah Scott and Santos Escobar are there as well. And so it's that sort of thing where, like, Charlie gets... My guest is Zelina Vega, Andrade. And then she goes to ask a question, but Zelina takes the mic off her. And she starts talking about their match with Angel Garza. And she's berating Garza. And it's like she walks from the interview area all the way through backstage. And then gets to Gorilla. And then she puts the mic down when she finishes talking when she's in Gorilla. As we go to the ring to start the match. It gets a 78, which is really fucking good. They have great chemistry. And it goes 17 minutes. It's a very Andrade versus Angel Garza sort of match. I sort of imagine what it would be like in real life. Sort of lucha-ish, but they're both sort of not really that high-fly-y. So, very grounded as well. Garza's got the upper hand, but of course the numbers game is against him. He would take out Escobar, he would take out Isaiah Swerve, he would neutralise them. And he would have Andrade up for the wing clipper. He'd be laid out. He'd go for the 1-2-3 pin, but then Zelina Vega would grab his leg and put it on the ropes. That sort of thing. But of course Zelina is there. She has got the numbers game. She would end up hitting Angel Garza with Hurricane Rana for tossing him back into the ring. Hammerlock DDT. And Andrade gets the 1-2-3 and wins here at SummerSlam, defeating Angel Garza. Andrade gets an 88, Garza a 67. Very good match, and Andrade comes out on top. I think that will benefit Garza as well, because a lot of people who wrestled on night 1 did game pop just for being in the ring at SummerSlam and having a banger. Garza is the sort of guy that would really benefit, so it's fine. And Andrade gets the win. Robert Stone arrives to the R-Truth party with Valia and Brandy. And he goes to Mark Henry. He's like, hey, I got this text message. Where is he? And Henry's like, what? There's someone here who's the hottest new young talent is looking to join the Robert Stone brand. And Henry's like, I don't know what you mean. But then he coughs. He's like, here I am. And it's clearly R-Truth under disguise. And he's like, hello, young talent. What is your name? And what do you reckon you could bring to the Robert Stone brand? And he's like, my name's Lil Jimmy, and I want to bring my baby. And then it snaps into life. Robert Stone realizes who this really is. And by the time he does, he's rolled up and pinned. And R-Truth wins his baby back. I forgot to do the title change. That's excellent. 62 for this 6-man tag. And 14 minutes it goes. And yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about it. It's you fought with 3 big men wrestling like big men. Otis and Gulak and Ali are there for the smaller guys. And Ali would take them all out on the outside, the 2 big men. Gulak would isolate, maybe Chad Gable will get involved. Take Dabba-Kato and Obakanu out. And it would come down to just Tucker and Otis. And Tucky he sees the fire in Otis's eyes. He finally gets his hands on the man who betrayed him. He sees the fire in Otis's eyes. He begs, "No, Otis, please. We were brothers. We're best friends. Don't do this to me." But Otis, he's not as dumb as he looks. He knows Tucky's lying to him. He gets slammed with the world's strongest slam. And then Otis, he backs up into the corner. Oh yeah! And he goes for the big caterpillar. He finally lays it out onto Tucky and gets his revenge, pins him 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring here at SummerSlam. And Ali, Otis, and Gulak defeat the Hot House in 62 rated match. Gulak gets a 62, Otis gets a 65, Ali gets a 65, 53 for Tucker, 29 for Kanu, and 32 for Dabakato. Robert Stone is in the R-Truth beach house looking for R-Truth so we can win back his 24/7 title. He's like, "Have you seen R-Truth? Have you seen R-Truth? Have you seen R-Truth?" He turns around, it's Jinder Mahal. He's like, "Shh, Shanti. There's no need to be so stressed. This is a party. You don't need your balm attitude stressing us out here. If you want to find R-Truth, ask politely, and maybe he'll come and visit you." And then Stone's like, "Oh, fuck off, Jinder." And then he sees Big Show. He's like, "Big Show, Big Show, Big Show." He's like, "Oh," because he's still very hungover from last night, because he had them shots and he tried to do limbo. And he's like, have you seen R-Truth?" Like, "Oh, I don't know. I only just got here." It's like, "Oh, I don't know. Fuck off." Stone then goes up to J-Flo, who are in the middle of their performance. He cuts the mic off. Mackie's singing, but he takes the mic out of her hand so he can go to everyone in the room. Has anybody in here seen R-Truth? But of course this doesn't please the members of J-Flo, who had their performance interrupted by Robert Stone here. Mackie gets all big angry. She flips him off and then pulls his trousers down. So he's got he's some sort of hilarious pair of pants on underneath. Ha ha ha. Robert Stone has been pantsed here by J-Flo at SummerSlam. And he pulls them up and he gets all embarrassed and runs off, continuing his quest to look for R-Truth. We then get a recap of Night 1 of SummerSlam. Just to remind everyone what happened in case you missed. Somehow you missed Night 1. You decided you were only going to watch Night 2 because the matches on Night 2 interest you more, I don't know. You get a recap of everything from the opener, where Liv Morgan overcame the odds to become the Raw Women's Champion, to the Churchlight casket match, Undertaker buried out, well not buried, but trapped Aleister Black in the coffin, and Edge versus Seth Rollins, and everything that went down with Randy Orton in that match. And then finally in the main event, Daniel Bryan winning the Universal Championship even, from Braun Strowman. He can submit to a kendo stick assisted yes lock. US title match gets a 79, Kevin Owens and Bobby Lashley. Goes 13 minutes, 24 seconds, and it's pretty much a kind of a brawl because these two could probably have a very good brawl, and there maybe would be a dive, Kevin Owens from the outside to the outside. Lashley hitting a couple of his moves, spear, but in the end MVP is still out there, and he's going to distract Kevin Owens. And then Owens is like, fuck off. Then he gets into the ring and he gets hit with a spear. And then locked into the full Nelson, he tries to fight out. He tries his hardest, but in the end he collapses to the floor and he has to submit. And Bobby Lashley, in 13 minutes, 24 seconds, becomes the new United States Champion. Owens gets a 78, Lashley a 71. Very good match for those two ratings. This get a 79. And we have another title among the ranks of VIP Nation after they lost their tag titles last night. Bobby Lashley makes amends, and he's now the United States Champion. Aaliyah and Brandy, not happy with how Robert Stone was treated by J-Flo. They challenge him, like, "You're not even that good. Like, J-Pop is shit. We could smash you with our R&B singing." And then they're like, "Oh, really?" Well, Truth's like, "Oh, okay, we'll have a rock-off here. You, the audience, will get to choose who the winner is. Will it be J-Flo? Will it be Brandy and Aaliyah?" So then that happens, and of course J-Flo will win, because they are the pros. Truth raises their arms up, And Maki rolls him up to win the 24/7 title. Hype video, Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura. Everything that's gone on with these two over the last couple of months. They're finally going to settle it now in a rematch from Nakamura's debut here at SummerSlam against Sami Zayn. But this time, he's not the beloved fan favourite rival. He's the dastardly, evil ex-best friend. Sami Zayn's looking for answers and retribution on. Gets an 80. Goes 23 minutes to 30. And ideally, it would just be taking the match from TakeOver they had and placing it in the middle of a SummerSlam card. But obviously with a little bit more dirty heel shit from Shinsuke. Interference from the translator Malcolm Bivens. And this is Sami's first match back as wrestling as Sami Zayn, the beloved babyface. So it would take it'll be sort of a slow build where he's got to sort of get back into that groove and stop trying to wrestle like a dickhead. He's got to get back into that, oh yeah, come on fans, Blue Thunder Bomb, Haluva Kick, etc. All that stuff. And then the fans would rile him up, so he goes for a Haluva Kick. And he would nail it to Nakamura. But Bivens would grab the leg to stop him from getting the cover. And then by the time he's disposed of Malcolm Bivens, the referee would be distracted, of course, going, yeah, get to the back, you fucking little sneaky bitch. And then boom, speaking of little sneaky bitches, another low blow by Shinsuke Nakamura to Sami Zayn. He goes to the ground and is laid out with a Kinshasa and pinned 1-2-3 by Nakamura here at SummerSlam. Gets an 80. Sami Zayn 72, Shinsuke 70. Very good match. That's joint with anything that was on night one. This is the joint best match so far of the entire 2-night event, with Edge and Seth and the Undertaker Aleister Black fight. Sami, he's distraught. He couldn't win it. He thought he was going to be the hero once again. The Sami Zayn of old is back, and he gets a round of applause from the WWE Universe for his efforts, because they understand that the old Sami Zayn is back, and he tried his damnedest to beat Nakamura here tonight, but he couldn't quite get it done because the numbers game and just him being a sneaky bitch. Robert Stone, he's getting all disheveled. He's like, oh, I'm never going to find R-Truth and get my 24/7 title back. And then he's drinking with the Street Boys, like, hey fam, just have another one of these cups. They'll help you forget. And then he downs one. And R-Truth goes up to him. He's like, hey, how you getting on, Robert Stone? And he's like, you bitch. And he rolls R-Truth up. And then he's like, hey, I'm not the champion. I'm not the champion. What are you doing? And then Jay Flo would walk past. And then R-Truth goes, yeah, she's the champion. And Robert Stone would try and roll Maki up. But of course, she's now expecting it because R-Truth shouted that she was the champion. So she's like, hey, someone must be coming for my title. She kicks out. And then all 5 members of J-Flow sort of gang up on Robert Stone and sort of push him into the swimming pool again. Because that is a nice recurring gag, and I know Vince McMahon would find it hilarious because someone's getting thrown into a swimming pool. Which, along with farting and vomiting and shit like that, is among the peak humour to him. Hype video, Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar. Everything that's gone on with these two the last couple of months. How Brock Lesnar feels like Joe's been mistreating him here on Raw. And it all comes down to this. Brock Lesnar, his last match as a Raw Superstar before he moves to SmackDown in the draft. And Samoa Joe could be his last match as the Raw General Manager. If he loses, he has to resign. This is the match of the fucking show so far. Gets an 83. And it is Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar having a fight. More so, I think it's a bit longer than the one they actually had in real life. And Joe would get... Well, actually, no, that match actually wasn't a squash. Joe actually did get a little bit. It just didn't go very long, which is why people thought Joe looked like shit. But it doesn't really matter because we're going 11 minutes here, which is a bit longer, I think. And it's quite even. Joe nearly chokes Lesnar out at one point. And it's just two big meaty men having a fight. Like you'd see two dads outside of a pub. But in the end, Joe goes for the coquina clutch. Brock Lesnar's face is going all sorts of purple. But then he rallies up into a second wind. He stands at his feet, Joe's still on his back, trying to choke him out. Transitions it into an F5, lays Samoa Joe out. And then picks him up again, second F5. Samoa Joe is finished, 1, 2, 3. Brock Lesnar defeats Samoa Joe in 11 minutes 41 in an 83 rated match. Joe 77, Lesnar 96. And Samoa Joe must now resign as the Raw General Manager. Leave the memories alone, what a run he had. Don't forget him choking out Jinder Mahal of Vengeance. Elias, he's got his guitar. He's on the stage where J-Flow were performing earlier on. He's like, I know you stole my spotlight. I was the performer here for night one. I just wanted to tell you specifically, I know I said that you all sucked and I performed with Sasha and Bailey the other month, but you were always my favourite member of J-Flow. He tells Mackie and she's like, ah. And then goes to hug him. But then he was a sneaky bitch. He was lying and he rolls up Mackie. He wins the 24/7 title. And Mackie, of course, is not happy with this. She gets angry and pouts, stomps her feet, picks up Elias' guitar and throws it into the swimming pool. And Elias has to go in there and get it. It's like, oh, god damn it. Now I've got to go in that pool and get my 24/7 title back. And then when he walks away, R-Truth is there watching. And he gets an epiphany. He's like, I've got it. I know how I'm going to get my baby back. And he shouts over them. He takes the mic and he's like, everybody here get changed into their swimsuits because I've got a nice little contest coming up in a minute. So R-Truth's got some sort of idea that requires everyone getting into their swimsuits. But here it is. The women's title is on the line. Paige, Bailey, Sasha is there as well. She's involved in the storyline. Paige gets her hero's welcome in her first match back in 3 years. And can she become the SmackDown Women's title holder? We're about to find out. 69 the match gets.
Nice.
Goes 17 minutes 34, so ring rust very much not an issue for Paige. She's been training her ass off. She goes 17 minutes with the SmackDown Women's Champion. Very back and forth. Paige, maybe the hardest challenge Bailey's had to face to date. Because no one can predict what she's going to do. Is she going to wrestle the same way she did when she was wrestling before? She changed her style up? Who knows? Bailey, she's hard to scout because she's not really been wrestling. Bailey hits her finisher on Paige, and Paige kicks out. Paige has got the heart and desire. Because again, she's just relinquished her SmackDown GM her SmackDown GM role for this title opportunity. This is her one shot to be the champion. And she's not going to let it slip away. She gets all fired up. She gives Bailey her comeback. Big super kick. Rampage. And Bailey is pinned. 1, 2, 3. Paige is the SmackDown Women's Champion. 63 for Bailey. 60 for Paige. 69 for the match. And Paige here has finally got a title once again in WWE. Or does she? Bailey takes a mic. She's like, no. This is bullshit. I didn't lose. Paige, you're not the SmackDown Women's Champion. And Paige's like, oh, well, I'm holding it, bitch. I just pinned you 1, 2, 3. So what does that mean? If that doesn't mean I'm the champion, what does? And then Bailey laughs. She's like, you see, you really gave everything up for this. You had this comfortable life as the SmackDown General Manager. Comfortable income, you were still on television. Still travelled with your friends. And you got greedy, because like I said, you're just a junkie and a mark for yourself. You couldn't just sit there and let Edge have his comeback. You had to think, oh, I can do that too. I can become the Women's Champion, and oh yeah, I'm so great. I'm the mighty great Paige. This was your one chance, Paige, to prove me wrong and prove that you were better than that, but you've proved me exactly right. All you want to do is become the champion, and you've thrown everything away to do it. So, if somebody were to take that away from you, Paige, you'd have nothing, would you? You'd have no job. You wouldn't be the champion. You'd just have given it all up for the sake of trying to get one over on Bailey. And boom, from behind, Sasha Banks twats Paige with the briefcase. She picks it up, she looks at it in her hands. looks around with a big evil grin, hands it to the referee. We've got an impromptu SmackDown Women's title match here. Paige is down. Sasha locks in the bank statement. But Paige, she can't submit. She's gone through all this hard work to get this title, all this rehab to get back into the ring. She couldn't possibly give up the title now. Paige, she fights out, but she can't hold on for much longer. She's forced to submit to the bank statement, and her reign is over before it even began. And the boss, Sasha Banks, is the new SmackDown Women's Champion. Hype segment / entrances, this one is, because I need to put the entrance in a segment, because one is The Fiend, and one is something I need to go over. Hype video is Roman Reigns and The Fiend, everything that's gone on with them. Everything involving the ripping off of the vest, to Leaky the Superdog, to all of that. And then The Fiend comes out, makes his entrance, big lasers, lighting, the little lamp, and all sorts. And he waits for Roman Reigns. And then out he comes. New theme song. He would be using I'll probably have it playing, but it's the Heart of a Warrior Roman Reigns song, because that would be a nice theme song for the way I'm going for him. And out comes Roman Reigns. No Shield gear. He's completely revamped himself. He's in tights. No tactical vest. He's wrestling shirtless. New look, new theme song. He has been changed by The Fiend. Would you believe me if I said that I had this whole thing planned before Real WWE? The always plan was to have the change for Roman be that he changed his appearance and theme and all that as a way to get him away from that Shield stuff. But then they're going to do it in real life. I didn't want to pivot 100% because my whole plan was, they're never going to turn... I had this plan before Roman came back, and it was still, they're never going to turn Roman Reigns heel, so I'm not going to do that either. But lo and behold, here we are. So I had to resist doing that myself and sticking with my actual plan. But he's not a heel. He's just a revamped Roman Reigns. And he's coming to fight The Fiend and kick The Fiend's ass. It's probably the most competitive, other than Goldberg, but hush, that didn't happen, that a Fiend match has ever been. Roman trying to take the fight from him. He goes 16 minutes, this match does. And The Fiend, he can't lock in that mandible claw. He's been trying to put Roman down for all this time, but he can't quite get it done. Roman's hit him with Superman punch after Superman punch, but The Fiend isn't going down. When finally he goes for one more, and The Fiend catches him with the mandible claw. Down to the mat goes the new big dog. Will he pass out? He gets his big dog strength. He stands up with the braised mandible claw in his mouth. And even though he's wearing a mask, you can sort of see a look of shock on The Fiend's face, like, what the fuck, why is he powering out of this? And Roman screams in his face. He gives him a couple of punches. And then a Superman punch. Another one. About 3 or 4. Take The Fiend off his feet. He backs up into the corner. He goes, ooh, wah. And then he runs to hit a spear. And the lights go off. And when they come back on, we've got the red lighting and the screaming. And Roman's in the ring confused because The Fiend is gone. But then all of a sudden, his attention is turned to the corner, where we just see, laying out cold, John Cena, who has just been deposited in the ring, and The Fiend has left. Roman looks all confused. He goes to wake John up. He's like, hey, what the fuck is this? And then Cena he comes into life all of a sudden. He looks all surprised. He's like, what the fuck, where am I? And The Fiend is laughing over the Titantron. And we don't really have a conclusive answer to the match here tonight. Roman took the fight to the Fiend, and John Cena has been brought back to life here at SummerSlam. R-Truth and Carmella breaking down the rules to the swimming pool battle royal, which R-Truth has now made. He goes, right, everybody, now we're all dressed for this competition. Let's go over the rules. We're all going to compete. It's going to be like a Royal Rumble. If you get thrown into the pool, you are eliminated. Last man standing is a 24/7 champion. Gets a 61 impromptu match. 2 people get injured in the swimming pool battle royal. And it is R-Truth who wins it, of course. And he defeats Robert Stone, Rob Gronkowski, and Carmella. Gronk, on his last night in WWE, he goes out in style. He goes up on top of the diving board, does his big dive from the top all the way to the floor, into the pool, taking out somebody, probably Jinder Mahal laying on a lilo. Carmella and R-Truth trying to work together on Robert Stone. Carmella gets thrown in. She goes to super kick Robert Stone. He grabs her foot, throws her into the pool. And then he thinks he's won, but then R-Truth throws him in from behind to win his baby back. Cinematic style of this match was added by the production values. 2 injuries in this swimming pool battle royal, and it is quite possibly where TEW booking has peaked, because we now have SummerSlam with a 24/7 title swimming pool battle royal won by R-Truth. I can't show this. I'm gonna have to make sure I didn't do that for the actual match. I didn't, okay. Anyway, there's a hype video. And it's for the WWE title match. Sorry if I've made a mistake in the segment. I can't show it to you. But it gets a 77. It's just a hype video for the WWE title main event. AJ Styles, Drew McIntyre. And here we go. The main event of SummerSlam Night 2. The main event of SummerSlam in general. Can I get an 82B? I certainly can, because that's what the match gets. It goes 23:57. And it's AJ Styles and Drew McIntyre. And basically similar to the Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins match from Money in the Bank in real life. Because I thought that match was really fucking good, and this was all be a really similar match to that. Is what we get here. And AJ's taking the fight to Drew McIntyre. And he gets him in the calf crusher. He knows he needs to take the legs out of the bigger man. He needs to wrestle smartly if he wants to try and win this title. Then his leg is hurting. He goes to stand up, and AJ lays him out with a phenomenal forearm. And Drew McIntyre kicks out. And AJ's like, oh, what more have I got to do? I can't Styles Clash this man. I've got to try and continue. He continues to work over the legs. He goes up for another phenomenal forearm. But as he flies in, Drew McIntyre catches him with a headbutt. And AJ's laid out. He comes flying in with a forearm, is laid out by a big Scottish kiss headbutt. And of course, Drew McIntyre back into the corner with AJ Styles out cold. 3, 2, 1. Claymore. AJ's turned inside out. Drew McIntyre goes for the cover. Gets the 1, 2, 3. And in the main event of SummerSlam 2020, Drew McIntyre defeats AJ Styles in 23:57 with a Claymore to make defense number 7 of the WWE title. Drew gets an 85, AJ Styles a 79. And he holds the title up high. Pyro going off. Boom, boom, boom. As the Scottish Psychopath retained his title on the biggest party of the summer. As we end SummerSlam, we end Season 1 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. A show which scores us an 89. The best show we've ever done in this save because of the fucking special production I put into this. And, of course, what matters more than the 89 is what you thought of the show. Do let me know what you thought in the comments below, now of all times, because this was the season finale, I guess. And I'll see you next time for episode 50, which will not be Raw, it will be the season recap, goal setting, and any other thing I need to go over, State of the Universe, that sort of episode. And I think it's really cool that it fell on episode 50, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So, and one more thing, thank you all for tuning into Challenge Run 2020 Season 1, and there'll be more R-Truth related shenanigans, and just general, just continuing my booking into Season 2. There's a lot of things I want to wrap up that have started here tonight, and I'll hopefully you've enjoyed what you've seen here, and you will see me then.